welcome to a brand new episode here on Britain's Farm. Yep, definitely Britain's Farm. I, was, I said in the last Britain's episode that I sometimes forget which farm I'm on. That's just because I've just come straight from 1950s farm. And the thing is, I've come straight from 1950s farm onto this one, but I was thinking about Cumberland's farm. And my brain kind of went, well, which one is it then? But yeah, we're on Britain's Farm and we're out in the field again, drilling some sugar beet this time. What we're going to do this time is we're going to get drilled up. So we're going to get this one drilled, and then unfortunately it's a trip back to the farm to get the seed drill, because we need to then drill. We need a different. We need the seed drill to drill the other crops. Is what I'm trying to say. Jesus Christ, who would have thought at 43 talking would be so difficult? I'm having one of those kind of muddling days today. Yeah, I've just been, as I say, sort of catching up on sort of one or two little bits and pieces, and my mind's all over the place. I'm sort of thinking 9,000 different things, and sort of lose track of what I'm saying at the current time. But yeah, so we're planting sugar beet in here. Again, wasn't really going to do sugar beet this time around, but I thought, do you know what, actually we had quite a good crop from it last time, and we didn't do too bad from it, and we are hopefully going to be buying some pigs this year, so I thought maybe we ought to get some sugar beet, to do. I think we'll just feed the pig sugar beet. As far as I know, that's more than acceptable. So that's what we will do. But yeah, whether we do get them this year or not, I don't know. But alright, actually, I've now got to think about this. So we're doing 24 metre tram lines. We've done 6 metres round, so we need to do another 6 metres round to make the 12 metres and then drill that. Don't need no marker though. So yeah, as I say, it's been a busy old week really, this week, or last week as such, because I usually record. I'm usually about a week, 2 weeks in front of my videos. Oh, now I can't see no mark whatsoever, so we're going to guess that bit, and we may well have missed there. So if we have. There's not a great deal we can do about it. I couldn't see it. But yeah, so usually I'm about a week and a half, 2 weeks in front. Probably about a week and a half in front. So last week, as you watch this now, last week it was a very busy week. So I said in the previous episode that I'd take my little boy to school and what have you, and he was going to the school where I went to, junior school, or primary school, or however you want to refer it. And yeah, I went to me and all of my family, my mum, my nan, sort of all of us went to that school. Again, I can't see the bloody mark. Oh dear, we're miles off. We're over here, look. Never mind. These trees are causing a little bit of issue. Never mind. I'm a professional, honestly. Yeah, so they all went there, so it was nice for him to sort of go there and have that sort of connection, with the school. I sort of, because he's obviously got quite a few issues. I don't think he quite fully comprehends the fact that sort of nan and dad and brothers and uncles and everyone else kind of went there. Do you know what I mean? I don't think it. I think there's a level of understanding, but then there's sort of kind of it ends, and then he's kind of like, it doesn't make sense to me. How did you all go to this school? I go to this school, but he's just on holiday club. That's all. As I said before, he has so much energy. Honestly, a kid with ADHD. No. Oh yeah, no, I'm doing it right. That's all right. Honestly, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Right, I'm going to drill this off square, and there's a reason for that. You'll see that in a minute. So drill that off square, then back up. So the key is when you're drilling, you don't want to be making too many wheelings. So you want to try and keep everything as short as possible if you can. Just because, as I say, you don't want to be making the wheelings. Because A, if it's a dry year, seed won't grow in it, or won't grow as well in it. And B, if it's a wet year, you'll obviously create little ditches in the field with your wheelings, and water will just sit in them, and then nothing will grow in them. So you want to try and keep your wheelings to a minimum if you can. It's not always possible, it's not always easy, but you sort of just do your best really, but try and keep your wheelings to a minimum. Because next year when you harvest the crop and the stubble sits there, you'll see them all, and you'll realise next year after you've harvested how bad you were at not keeping your wheelings out. So it's always best to try and keep it as minimal as possible. So literally go past where you need to be, back, turn at the same time, drop, and then drive, and then literally you've only got little tiny wheelings sort of all over. I mean, normally on a drill like this, we would have track looseners. So we would have two tines two tines each side behind each wheel to take out the wheelings as best possible. But Farming Sim doesn't offer that option, so you can't really do it. Which is not too bad, to be fair. It's not gonna. None of the wheelings and stuff in Farming Simulator doesn't affect how your crop grows or anything, but in real life it does, obviously. So we would have, as I say, 4 tines taking 2 behind each wheel, taking the wheelings out. Just so that water didn't settle in there, and also as well, as I say, if it's a dry, hard year, the crop would be able to get through, because obviously what happens is it pans it down too much, compacts it, and then the seed can't get through the soil because it's too hard. So yeah, but yeah, no, hope you all well. Not having too bad a time myself. I say been a bit busy and a bit hectic, but otherwise it's all good. And say been sort of kind of just sort of chilling out really. As I say, I've been taking my little boy to school, and honestly, there's no wonder I'm single. So I was like queuing up to drop him off, and anyway, this woman's been dropping off her little girl, and every from Monday morning, the first Monday that I took him, and he didn't go Tuesday because he really misbehaved Monday night, and his mum decided that was his punishment. I didn't really think it warranted the crime personally, but I can't really start telling them what to do, because otherwise they get a bit what can I say, a bit difficult about me seeing him then if I start to interfere, as they say. So I basically, when he's with me, parent him my way and they parent him their way. But the people that have sort of been involved with Thomas because of his behaviour and different things have sort of kind of said in the meetings that we all had, you two need to start sort of listening, learning how James does it, because the reason that Thomas doesn't want to live with you and wants to live with his dad is because with his dad, yes, he gets told off for doing things wrong, but there is a level of understanding where emotionally and mentally he's at. So therefore, because he's not really a normal average 8-year-old boy, I don't treat him like a normal average 8-year-old boy. I manage him the way that he needs to be managed. You know, now when my nephews and nieces, you know, come down, I would, you know, I would treat them differently because they are what I would consider normal 8-year-old, or that I think they're a bit older than 8, but I would treat them as you would most children. But in terms of my little boy, you can't do that because, you know, things are not like that. You know, so you have to, you know, you have to manage him. But they, as I say, Monday he sort of did 2 things wrong, and that was it. You know, oh, that's not happening. Oh, you're not going to see your dad at the weekend. Oh, that's not happening. Oh, that, you know, and I sort of think, bit harsh, you know, bit harsh. But like I say, because they do stop me. Not so much now. I will say that. You know, I will say it's not so much now, but in the past, you know, when I've kind of sort of had my viewpoint, shall we say, you know, then it's been okay. Oh, you're not going to your dad's. Oh, you're not, you know. So I tend now to sort of keep out of it and not really offer too much in the way of opinion. You know, and so that. But yeah, so I was in the queue, dropping him off, and on Monday morning, didn't go Tuesday. Well, Monday morning, this woman was there, and as I say, she kind of spoke to me, you know, hello and all this business, and it was quite. Oh, the bloody drill's done it again. Don't know why, and I should remember, but I don't know why it don't just like normally it just switches over. A good job that wasn't a tramline breed, otherwise we would have been in trouble. But yeah, so right now we need to try and find a straight edge to start from, so that we can get that done right. Right, where does this straight edge take me? It's going to take me through there. That's okay. So what's on this side? How far over is the... Okay, so it's right over there. So actually then if we... Oh no, we can't drill it from this way because we're already on a corner. Okay, back on the tram lines and drive back to the other end of the field. Don't drive through the field like that because we've now left big wheelings. Naughty, naughty. I'd get in trouble if I was at work and did that. I'd get in a lot of trouble if I did that at work. I'd get in a hell of a lot of trouble. I've left wheelings all the way across there. But anyway, we'll start from here and just drill it up and down, and then we'll meet it up over there. So it's no problem. It should make sense as we go along. Yeah. So as I say, you know, and she sort of smiled and said hello and like what have you, and you know, sort of did likewise because you know I'm a very friendly guy. And sort of say didn't see her Tuesday. Then yesterday, which was Wednesday, she was there and said hello. And this time we got past hello a little bit by sort of having a little bit of a chat. And when I say chat, she basically asked me 1,000 questions, and I was very selective in the way that I answered these 1,000 questions. I don't know. You know, because like and I've said it before. You know, since like what happened with like Thomas's mum and that, and a few things that happened when I was in my teenage years, I just don't trust people. I literally don't trust anybody. I find it near on impossible, and no matter how hard I try, I just can't. And so I was very suspicious that this, you know, sort of stranger, if you like, was kind of asking me all these questions. I mean, I get home, you know, and I'm sort of telling, like, you know, either my mum or my brother or whatever, and they go, there is a possibility, you know, she was just being friendly. It's like, well, yeah, but why ask me so many questions? And it's like, well, you know, why not? And I'm like, well, yeah, but it's just a bit odd, isn't it? And it's like, no, it's not a bit odd. You know, this is how people get to know each other. They ask questions. It's like, yeah, but we're not really on the sort of kind. Oh, bugger! Because I lifted the drill up, that wasn't then drilling bloody tram lines, was it? Right. Oh dear. Not concentrate. This is because I'm blooming chatting to you guys. This is not concentrating here. No. Yeah. So anyway, so took him in, picked him up Wednesday night, and she was there again. So this time I'm armed with information of she was probably just being friendly. And she says to me, she says, "I'm really sorry if I offended you this morning." And I was like, "No, you didn't offend me." I said, I just sometimes don't quite know. I said, like, I get a bit shy and a bit nervous around new people, and I don't quite know how to sort of, take you or sort of respond. I said I was being a bit ignorant. I said, and I do apologise. I said, but um, I said, I've given myself a good talking to. I'm back in the game. And she was laughing her head off. And she went, "Oh, that's good." So I said, "Yeah." So anyway, we had again a little, really brief sort of chat. And the chat in the morning was kind of like, "Where are you from? Are you married? Are you single? Are you with someone? Does the little boy live with you? Does he live with his mum?" Sort of as soon as she found out the answer to one question, that sort of generated, another 50 questions in her mind, and I was kind of like, and because I'm not like that, I tend to not ask people. I tend to sort of think, if people want to tell me, they'll just tell me. Right, so I don't sort of ask, and then it's like, then people go to me and go, "You never ask how I am," and it's like, well, if you wasn't all right, you'd tell me, wouldn't you? And the fact that you're not telling me tells me you're all right. They're like, "Yeah, but it's nice to be asked," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, I suppose." So I asked you how you were. Yeah, but you were just being nosy. So yeah, a bit awkward. Anyway, this morning, dropped him off, and she was there again, and we sort of got chatting. But this time, I was actually I was very accommodating this time, because she said to me, she goes, "Do you fancy going for a little walk?" So I was like, I said, "Are you not married or something?" And she was like, "No, I'm not married. I'm single." So, well, I'm getting divorced. I'm not properly single yet, but I'm getting divorced. But I'm allowed to talk to people. So we're not getting married. It's not a first date. So I said, no. I said, I didn't quite mean it like that. I said, I just didn't, I said, like, I have this terrible fear of, like, someone's husband seeing me walking, and I get the absolute 2 tons of, sort of the proverbial kicked out of me, So I said, just kind of making sure. No, you're fine. So I said, okay. She goes, you are very very sort of anxious and nervous around people, aren't you? I was like, yeah. And she was going, well, just relax. She said, there's nothing. We're just going for a walk and we're just sort of chatting. So I was like, I'm relaxed. And she goes, I don't believe you. I said, you're very wise not to. Then it was kind of like, what do you do? So I was like, well, I kind of know. I feel like a fraud when I say, like, I'm a YouTuber. I know I do YouTube videos, but so I sort of said, well, I said, like, basically got, what's wrong with me. So I said, like, I can't work, because I get very tired and sort of what have you through the day, and what have you, and she was like, okay. So I said on a sort of kind of personal level, for something to do during the day, I said, because it gives me a purpose, it gives me a reason to actually sort of get excited about each day and what have you. I said, I do YouTube videos, and she was like, oh really? She goes, like, what do you do? So I told her. She had no idea, which to be fair, I wasn't expecting. But and then she was like, oh, what? And people actually sit and watch you playing a game. It's like, well, yeah. I said, the same way that I sit and watch people play the same game. I said, like, so why not? And she was like, I don't know. She goes, it's a bloody computer game. So I said, yeah. So she said, well, I don't get it. So I said, do you watch soaps? So she said, yeah. I said, well, in the same way that you're kind of thinking about my computer games, it's not real. I said, newsflash, soaps are not real. I said, like, they're just people acting. I said, and we're not really acting, but, we are entertaining. To the people that find this entertaining, we are entertaining. Well, hopefully we're entertaining. I said, like, so I said, therefore, that's why people watch. That's why you watch EastEnders or Coronation or whatever soap it is that you watch. I said, that's why people watch that. I said, it's the same like with wrestling and that, you know. I said, like, you know, a few years ago with my ex, with Thomas's mum, she was really into wrestling when I met her, and I wasn't. And at first, I used to say to her, "Oh, what are you watching that rubbish for? You know, it's not real." And she said, "You're missing the point." She said, "I know it's not real, but you know," she said, like, "I enjoy it. It's entertaining. It's, you know." And I was like, kind of, really? And then I started to watch a few episodes with her, like SmackDown and Raw and all of that, you know, on Sky and that. And actually, yeah, she was right. You know, actually, for an hour or hour and a half, or I can't remember how long it was now. It's quite a few years ago. You know, it was actually quite entertaining to watch. You know, it was, you know, sort of like I say, and you know, luckily, you know, I'm sort of lucky in the end that because of her love for wrestling, and because when I'm with someone, I like to absolutely spoil them rotten. I don't know why, I just do. I just love spoiling the person that I'm with rotten. I mean, you know, like I say, you know, it always comes back and bites me on the bum, but you know, whatever. Um, in terms of, because, and it started to happen in my last relationship, because I was always kind of really sort of generous and would sort of try and, you know, sort of get them whatever they wanted. It then becomes where people take that for granted and take you for granted, and they just then expect it with everything. You know, suddenly it's like, "Oh, I'll take you out for today," and then it's like, you know, okay. And then you get there, and you know, it's kind of, well, pay them then. And it's like, I thought you were taking me out for the day. You know, she's like, "Oh, I did. I driv." So, that's what you mean. Okay, note to self. Next time you say you're taking me out for the day, I need to make sure I can afford it. But you know, and so I did. You know, I used to try, but I say, like with Emma and that, I used to, you know, I kind of sort of saw an advert where the wrestling was coming to Nottingham, and decided to take her. And we went quite a few times, and then the last time we went and saw the Undertaker. It was his sort of farewell tour, and that was at Nottingham, and he was fighting CM Punk in a casket match. And it was very, you know, like really, really good. But you know, soon after that, I kind of, you know, found out and realised that, you know, she was cheating on me, and you know, we weren't together too much after that. But you know, as I say, but it's really good. But yeah, I was trying to make her see that, you know, but I still don't think she could kind of quite, you know, get her mind around it. But yeah, it was still nice having a chat. You know, as I say, we went for a little walk, which is good because I need to walk, because it's kind of like I've been finding it the last sort of 6 months or so. I've been finding it sort of quite hard to breathe, and I've kind of been convincing myself that something's really wrong again with my heart, and you know, and so I'm sort of kind of turning a blind eye to it, and I've actually come to the conclusion that I'm probably a bit too fat, and I'm a bit overweight, so I need to lose weight. And I don't mind people calling me fat. If you call me fat, that's great. That's kind of bit of motivation to go out and, you know, and do something about it. You know, do I get offended? Nah, you can't offend me. You can say what you like, you can't offend me. You know, and the reason being is that I always think that finding offence to something is personal to me, um, or the individual that's, you know, like, you know, I say something, you're offended. In a way, kind of, so what? That's your issue, not my issue. Um, uh, like, does that make? I don't want that to come over harsh, but I do find it really fun. You know, like you read sort of stuff on. I mean, I'm not on Facebook or anything, but like, you know, sort of you know, people that I've been with that are on Facebook have gone, "Oh, I find that highly offensive. I'm going to complain." Why? It's like, well, because I don't like it. Well, that's tough. And they sort of look at me and go, "You what?" I say, "It's tough that you don't like it. No one forced you to read it. No one forced you to carry on reading it until you got to the end to decide that you didn't like it." I said, "You know, the fact that you don't like it, that's personal to you. So therefore, you might not have liked it, but there might be 2,000 people that did quite like it, and therefore it's relevant to them. I said, like, as for you, you need to move on. You need to find stuff that you like. I said, like, you know, that's kind of, it doesn't go down well. It's just like, you know, people always go, oh, I want you to be honest. Like, really? It's like, you know, it's like, I mean, I'm not on dating sites now, but in the past I was on dating sites. That's how I met my last partner, on Match.com. And, you know, on there it's like, you know, people go, oh, you know, I'm really honest, and like, you know, whatever. And I kind of set out my profile and basically said, you know, this and this is how it is. It's up to you. You know, I'm not bothered whether you do or don't. You know, this is how I am. This is what I'm like. It's up to you. And as I say, like, you know, the last one sort of accepted it, and then kind of towards the end was getting a little bit what should we say, put out by the fact that I was living exactly how I said in my profile I live my life. You know, which is I get up in the morning, I put my computer on, I play on it all day. I'm more than happy and want to go out for the day, but most of the time, you know, either she was at work, so in the day, you know, I used to say to her, what do you want me to do then all day? Just sit in a chair really quiet until it's okay and acceptable for you to come home and say, yeah, you can now play on your computer. It's not going to happen. You know, as for cleaning the house, well, I did go through every morning having a routine where I clean the house, but then, you know, sort of kind of like, you know, people would come home, the other people of the house would come home and just start leaving crap everywhere, and afterwards, you know, I'd kind of sort of think, but that took me all morning to do that. You know, I had to waste quite a bit of energy, you know, sort of doing that, you know, and you've kind of come home and destroyed it in a matter of minutes, you know, and I kind of got to the point where I was just like, I ain't going to do it, like, you know, I'm not going to do it. Yet again, this wasn't going to be a chatty video. And I've kind of chatted about nothing today, and I do apologise for that. I'll tell you what we will do. We'll have a ride back to the farm. So yeah, as I say, but so she said to me, she goes, I look forward to seeing you tonight. Maybe she did say the name of her little guy. I can't remember it now. And to be fair, I wouldn't really give it out over sort of publicly anyway, because I don't think that's right. But yeah, so she she said, oh, you know, I'll see you tonight. So I was like, okay. And then it's a case of like, you know, it's really nice, you know, and it's good that someone's sort of offering to be friendly. But I kind of, I don't know. It's I like, as I say in my dating profile, you know, I kind of put, you know, look, I don't really trust people. You know, I can and do get jealous quite quickly, and yet it ended up, as I say, for the last one to be in the end a problem. And you know, and I sort of said, you know, I did say all this, you know, to be fair, I did say all this, and you messaged me first. It wasn't the other way around, you know, and so you kind of accepted that, you know, and but whatever. Like I say, I don't know. Anyway, let's stop talking about that rubbish. Let's get back to some farming. Actually, a funny story actually about farming, and I know people like me talking about my time farming and what have you. So, as I've said before, on the first farm, I worked with a guy called John, and there was just the two of us, and then Ray would come in and help out, or we'd get a student in to come and help out if we were really busy or behind or whatever. Now, John was in the fantastic position of he could do what the hell he liked whenever he wanted. No one said it, you know, no one batted an eyelid, no one said anything to him. Like, it just, he really, if he didn't want to turn up for work on Monday, he just didn't turn up for work on Monday. He didn't say that he wasn't turning up for work, and you know, everyone was fine with that. Now, if I did that, you know, I'd get a rollicking. But you know, everyone was fine with him doing it. And don't get me wrong, he didn't abuse this privilege of or this position that he had. You know, 99 times out of 100 he would turn up for work every day, and if he wasn't going to turn up for work, he would actually phone in and say, well, I can't make it today. But there was a couple of times when he literally just didn't say anything. Well, on this particular occasion he didn't say anything, and we were drilling. We were I can't remember if it was spring or autumn, but we were drilling. I know we were drilling because of what I'm going to tell you. So I'm in. I'll get to work, and it's like, I'll go powering, go get ahead, and then obviously when John gets here, he's obviously running a bit late this morning. When he gets here, he'll start to catch you up. So I was like, fair enough. So anyway, it goes off. Oh no, so if it was spring, and I tell you the reason why it was spring, because I wasn't powering. I had the NZ Aggressive on, the Verdestat. A fantastic tool in the spring. So if you've winter ploughed something and then in the spring you go in with that and it's all bubbly, honestly, it leaves such a fantastic seed bed you would not believe. It is, and as well, the good thing about it is I can travel with it as fast as what the drill could travel. So it meant that I could keep in front, and the weather was sort of set fair or whatever, so it was all right. But yeah, that is coming back to me now. The whole thing is now starting to come back to me. So anyway, we get to the end. We get to about 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, and like still no drillman. And Anthony's come up and said, "Oh, John didn't turn up." So I said, "Oh, well." So I said, "You've rung and sort of." He said, "Yeah." He said, "But I just can't get hold of him." Like, so fair enough. So he said, "I'm a bit worried." So I said, "Why?" So he said, "Well, in case something's happened on the way." "Wee, just pull out." "Yeah, no worries, mate." But, well, what are you doing? Jesus Christ, the standard of sod off. It's me. The standard of driving in the UK has really deteriorated. Anyway, so I said, "Why are you worried?" He said, "Well, something might have happened to him on the way to work." So he said, "Do you know which way he comes to work?" So I said, "Yeah." So he said, "Do you want to do me a favour, dear?" So I said, "What's that?" He said, "Go back to the yard." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Park up." I said, "Right." He said, "Get in the truck." I said, "Yeah." He said, "Go and have a look." Okay, why don't you go and have a look? I'm not really that bothered. Do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's kind of like, you're the one that's worried. You go look. And so I was like, okay, fair enough. So anyway, get to the truck, goes out, didn't see nothing, and gets to his house. His car's outside his house. So I literally went all the way back to his house. Car's outside his house. So I says, gets back and I says to Anthony, "Oh, bloody mouse. Honestly, my pedals and my mouse are absolutely shocking. Definitely going to be getting some new ones when... Well, I was getting some new ones, to be fair. They were due to be delivered, was it last week or this week? But then I got a message from the eBay seller saying, "Oh, actually, we were out of stock and I didn't realise it." And now I'm having trouble getting my money back because he's like, "No, I'll keep the money until I do eventually get them back in stock, and then I'll send them." And I was like, "Okay, how long's that going to be?" And he's like, "Oh, probably nearer to Christmas." And I'm like, "Well, you can give me my money back now then, because I bloody need this stuff now, not near Christmas." Anyway, let's go and get the seed drill. Yeah, so I get back, sort of says, "Oh, by the way, blah blah blah," he's out, his car's outside his house. Anyway, Tuesday comes, he's not at work again. So Anthony can't get through. So he says to me, he says, "Go knock on his door and find out why he's." And I went, "No, you go knock on his door." I said, "I'm not, it's nothing to do with me." And he's like, "No," he goes, "I'm telling you to go knock on his door." And I'm like, "That's really good. I'm telling you, it's nothing to do with me. You're the boss. You go knock on his door." And anyway, eventually, after a sort of protruding sort of not argument, but a little bit of a friendly discussion, we decide, both of us. I don't remember deciding, but apparently, yeah, I was complicit in the whole thing. That I'm going to go and knock on the door. So I go round there, knock on his door, and no answer. And then just as I'm going, his son turns up. And oh, why don't you work? Supposed to jump on the back there, do that, and then that happens. Never mind. Anyway, we'll get some seed in there, and then we'll get off. We're going to be paying the next 2 fields that we drill. We're going to be paying tribute to Farming Sim 2025. Yes, I'm not telling you no more than that. But it's a crop that's coming to Farming Sim. Have I overshot yet? What? Oh, perhaps need weed. Jesus, perhaps needs lowering as I slam it into the drill. What the hell am I doing? Anyway, is it full? Yeah, there's only one way to find out. It doesn't look full, to be fair. Ah, it's not full. Didn't think it was. It's ridiculous. Come on, fill it up. Unless the trigger really is in this corner. No. I didn't. I did not envisage it being so difficult to fill a drill. Oh. Oh, well, I don't like that because we're not over the drill and we're just spilling them on the floor. But if that's what the game requires, that's what the game requires. You can't argue with Farming Sim because there's only going to be one winner there, and that's Farming Sim. I don't know why seed bags are scattered all over the bloody floor over here. Anyway, let's go off and get to the field. Yeah, we're going to be paying, as I say, a little bit of homage and tribute to Farming Sim 25, and you'll find out in a minute when we get there what we're going to be doing. But we're sort of doing this in trying to welcome in the new game already. So I'm doing my bit for for Farming Sim. So goes and knocks on his door. As I say, when I'm coming away, his son arrives. His son gets to the house, and I said, he's not in. So he goes, no, he's not in. So I said, all right. I said, I don't suppose you know where he is. He went, yeah, he's in hospital. So I said, all right. Oh Christ. I said, nothing serious, I hope. And he's like, oh, he had a car crash on Sunday. Crikey. So he's like, so anyway, gets back to Anthony, and then sort of tells him. And so Anthony says to me, so well, you're going to have to go drilling. So I said, yeah, all right, fair enough. So and I've done it before. So I gets in John's tractor. He had a 7810 John Deere and 4 meter vertistat, and gets in there. We were drilling beans, I think. It was either beans or peas, and so I was like, yeah, fair enough. So he gets in the tractor, as I say, fills the drill up, and goes off. Gets to the field. So obviously the fields that I, NZ the day before. So I gets to the field, been given my sheet, what fields, and what have you, sort of litres per hectare, or however, I can't remember, or square meters I think seeds were, but the rate that you were putting it on. And we'd been drilling the week before, so the drill was calibrated, so I didn't have to do any of that. And sets off down the field, bosh. No GPS, you have to drive straight. You need the markers and everything. You need to drive straight. Not allowed to do the tram lines first. They wanted them doing last. So set off down the field, and I'm doing a lovely job. Anyway, I've been going probably about hour and a half or whatever, and I thought, so on the vertistat computer, you get a hopper like measurement, so it tells you how much is in the hopper, so you can roughly tell when you're starting to get empty. It hadn't moved, and so I kind of sort of thought, and it had been something that we'd done before, in that when you're loading it, sometimes you could catch the like there's like a little, or the way our I don't know if this is the same for all of them. I'd only ever seen ours, but or been up close and personal with ours. But the way that they had it set up was like the sort of connection was near where you climb up to the drill, and then the sensor was on the inside, but the little box was on the outside, sort of like the little plug, if you like, what connected it from the drill to the tractor. And so I thought, oh, I've obviously knocked the sensor, so I thought I better get out and have a look. So it gets out, climbs up onto the drill, opens the sheet, seed tank is still full. I was like, that hasn't used any bloody drill, any seed. So I was like, okay, I'm going to have to obviously go back through the field and start scratching to find seed, So I'm looking, and no seed. And I'm thinking, okay. So then I start going back further across the field, and I get to like the first sort of probably breed, maybe 2 breeds that I'd done. Seed. And I was like, okay. So then I'm sort of, walking back like across, and then like some bits had seed, some bits didn't. And what had been happening, and I didn't realise was that because it had been a long time from the last time I drilled to this time, I forgot that the spool valve on the John Deere 7810 was a bit loose that controlled the fan, and the fan was obviously what controlled the, blowing the, the seed through the thingy. So what had happened was the inside the cab, the lever that controlled the spool valve kept jumping out. So as I was going down the breed, I'd perhaps get so far, then there'd be like a sufficient enough sort of little rock or bump, and it would knock it out, and so it stopped drilling. So I had no idea where I drilled and where I hadn't drilled. The first sort of 2 breeds, it had drilled all the way along as far as I could tell. Do you know what I've done? I've gone well past the farm. That's because I'm talking to you lot again. Doesn't matter. We'll go and drill this field first, so we can look professional, because I meant to do that. Yeah. So as I say, like I was kind of like, and so I was, so I rang Anthony, and I was like, made a bit of a cock up. Like, what? And I went, yeah. So I explained, and he went, he said, why are you not looking? And I was like, well, to be fair, I said, like, I was putting it in, but of course John had sort of told me, when you put the fan in on the drill, lock the spool valve in its on position, and then what you want to do is you don't need to touch it. Well, what I was doing was, I think I was kind of, I don't really, because I mean it was a long time ago now, so I don't know whether I was, sorry, I missed the field as well. I don't know whether I was knocking the, whether I was sort of taking it out at each end and then sort of putting it back in when I sort of turn around, but because you don't need to, you can have it on continuous, because when you lift the drill up, because the metering reel is no longer in contact with the ground, it then stops the seed from coming out. And yeah, I basically had to kind of double drill all the bits I drilled and then sort of catch it, but yeah, they weren't happy, and I didn't get to go on the drill the next day. So to be fair, actually, if I remember correctly, I didn't do any more drilling on that farm. So that it was, it was the same farm that asked me to do the water trough for the animals in a concrete rubble base with a shovel and a pickaxe, rather than buying a little mini digger. It was that same farm, and like I say, I think they got to the point where I kind of, a bit like really my last relationship, I got to the point where I kind of felt that they just didn't want me around, and so I kind of, as I say, when excuse me, when the other farm came and sort of said, actually, I don't want to be doing that. What I'll do is I'm going to leave the video here, just going to quickly finish what I was just saying. I'm going to leave the video here, and then in the next video we will drill this field. It won't be a chatty video. We'll drill this field, we'll drill the next field, we'll get them rolled, and then we'll crack on. But yeah, so this one wasn't meant to be a chatty video either, but just sometimes, I don't know, excuse me, I don't know, I just feel like chatting, so I did. But yeah, so when the other farm came and sort of said, we'd really like you to come and work for us, it was sort of at the right time, because like I say, the farm that I was on, it kind of felt like they'd got to the point where they didn't really want me anymore. I'm not really sure why. Like I say, I used to work all the hours and would sort of try anything. The only thing I would say was I'm not very DIY, so if you wanted a door hanging, I can't do that. If you want something repairing, I can't really do that. Now the farm that I moved to, none of that mattered. They had maintenance guys for hanging, doors in offices and stuff, and they had mechanics for, when stuff broke down, because these people were trained by the relevant, brands of tractors that we were using, or implements that we were using. They would go off and have, 2, 3, 4 days of training with them to be able to fix and identify problems with their machinery really quickly. So when I got there, it was a case of like, well, I don't really do maintenance, and it's like, we don't want you to. We don't want you to touch any of the equipment. Just report that it's broken, and then someone will fix it. Someone will come to you and fix it, and then that was what happened. And as I say, if it wasn't for the way things turned out in terms of market condition, I'd still be working there today, because it was a really good job, and they were very fair. And if you messed up, I don't know if I've told you the story, but in the next sort of chatty video that I do, whenever that will be, I'll tell you about my first 2 days there. They were very, very funny, but I messed up, and they were like, don't worry about it, we'll sort it. Yes, it's going to cause us a little bit of a problem, but we'll sort it, no problem. And then I'd been there probably about 3-4 years, and I went and did exactly the same thing again. Now I thought they were kind of okay with me the first time around, because I was new, and they sort of didn't want to put me off, if you like. But 3 or 4 years later, and as I say, I made exactly the same mistake, and it's a serious enough mistake, especially this time because of what I did. The first time it didn't matter so much, but the second time that I did it, it was a bad mistake this time. But after the second time I did it, I say it was like 4 or 5 years down the line, and I get a phone. I'm in another field. I get a phone call, and it's like, James, have you been? Yes. Why? And I'm like, because that's what you told me to do. And he was like, no, I didn't. Yes, you did. He said, no, I didn't. And I was like, okay, you didn't, but you did. That's why I did it. But as I say, next time I'll tell you the ploughing story. As I say, gone on to that farm to be the ploughman, to be the sort of the main ploughman, and made some pretty big cock-ups in the first sort of few days, weeks that I was there, and then then started getting it right, and then about 4 or 5 years later did exactly the same thing again, and still didn't get in trouble for it. They were, they just took the mick out of me. We all had a really good laugh and a joke over it, and that was the end of that. But anyway, I'm going to go now, because this video's gone on far too long, and I'm sure there's no one left listening. So thanks ever so much for watching. If you haven't done already, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really does help the channel and me. And all that's left for me to say is thanks ever so much for joining me on this episode. I've really enjoyed having your company, and I look forward to seeing you again on the next one. Bye for now.